Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for your Manchester United versus Chelsea Premier League preview for the Saturday night kickoff. This is an absolutely humongous game of football. Someone told me once that the word humongous isn't actually a word. Let me know if they were right in the comments down below. This is massive though. Chelsea have not won at Old Trafford since Juan Mata scored a winner for us there in 2012, 2013? Now, since then, Juan Mata has gone on to play for Manchester United. It has been so long, and I feel as though this is the moment. This is the time for Chelsea to go there and finally ruin that record for Man United. United right now don't have very much to shout about. Ruben Amorim, I personally think, is on his last chance saloon. I think if Chelsea go there and blow Man United away, Amorim could be sacked before the international break. My thoughts are, unless something dramatically improves for Manchester United, I think Amorim is gone in October. And I think Mr. Gareth Southgate will be the man to take over. But listen, right? Every time Chelsea go to Old Trafford in recent memory, I think we're better equipped this time. I think we should do quite well here. United are rubbish. We got to win, haven't we? Chelsea's situation now isn't necessarily desperate at this point, but based on the last week, drawing away at Brentford the way that we did, losing to Bayern Munich, I'd argue also the way that we did, this game becomes even more important. Today we're going to build the Chelsea 11, give score predictions, go over to the tactics board to take a little look at just how important this game is going to be for Chelsea. But before we do that, I want to say a huge thank you to today's video sponsor. Do you know what I really hate? Taking notes. It takes too long, and by the time I actually remember to pick up the pen, the thought has gone and I never actually write it down. And this is where Plord come in. This is the Plord Note, a sleek, pro-level AI note taker that literally records and creates notes for you. So if me and the big dog, Josh Aveste, are doing an episode of the 3 More Points podcast, I'm going to click this button here on the back of my phone case where the Plord sits in this lovely little leather case. I'm going to click the button, and then when I finish recording, I'll click the button again, and from there, I'll have all of the notes and all of the transcript from the video that I have just made. So when it comes to doing YouTube descriptions, this is helping me to make sure that we get all of the important information in there. Plord keeps your data safe with end-to-end encryption. With the Ask AI built into the Plord app and the website, you can ask questions like, when did I last mention Xavi Simons? Probably every video, but the Plord app will let me know exactly where it was because it keeps all of my transcripts whilst I'm recording. Don't worry about your data security. It keeps your data safe with end-to-end encryption and meets global privacy standards like SOC2 and GDPR. So if you do want to support the channel and you do want to make your life easier by getting your hands on one of these, then make sure you check the link in the description. GBFC10 gets you £10 off your Plord order. And we are back in the video. Let's first of all talk about the opposition. Manchester United are seriously struggling. Last week against Man City, I wouldn't necessarily say they were awful, but some of the errors defensively were alarming. Going forward, they have bought the likes of Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha, Benjamin Sesko. These players haven't necessarily hit the ground running. Cunha's been out injured. Sesko still hasn't scored. I don't want Chelsea to be the team where Benjamin Sesko can get himself on the board in the Premier League. The truth is, when I watch this Manchester United team, I don't find them impressive whatsoever. I think their best player, Bruno Fernandes, who I've personally never been a massive fan of, but I will appreciate that he's a very talented footballer, he's playing far too deep in the midfield. I think Kobbie Mainoo is another very talented footballer, totally underutilised by a manager in Ruben Amorim who is too stuck in his ways. He doesn't have any alternative plan. So with that, Enzo Maresca, who I rate as a versatile manager who's able to look at the finer details of what another opposition side can play like, can be like, Enzo Maresca should be prepared here. Now, going into the press conference today, I just had my fingers, Yeah, fingers, mate. I had my fingers crossed, that's a good one. I had my fingers crossed that Chelsea weren't going to have any new injury worries. Enzo Maresca was pretty coy in his press conference. There's a few doubts right now about players, but we don't know who those doubts are. Now, of course, Cole Palmer came back in, started the game against Bayern Munich, scored a wonderful goal. And by the way, he also scored a lovely second goal too with an Andre Santos assist in the 89th minute that I believe was correctly ruled out for offside. But Chelsea go into this game, and every match right now, we don't have that many options. We've got potential defensive players that we can bring into different positions, and when we build my Chelsea lineup, you guys will see that. The midfield as well, we do have options. Esu goes out for 3 months. Caicedo's playing a ton of football. He looked tired against Bayern Munich. I think that's the first time. And I don't know how long where I watched Caicedo play and I'm like, that was actually one of your poorer games. But he wasn't bad, but he looked tired. But I don't really see what we can do here. We've got Lincoln midweek next week. We can take Caicedo out for that one, surely. But Chelsea go into Old Trafford. We've always got to be worried purely because it is Manchester United. But I'll say this. I have never been more sure that Chelsea are favourites, even at Old Trafford. How can we not be the favourites against this Man United team? This United team look down. They look out. There's been rumours at the start of this week, off the back of that Manchester derby defeat. People are turning around saying, oh, Amorim might be losing the dressing room a little bit now. Maybe that's true. Chelsea here, after drawing at Brentford last weekend, if we don't win this game, we can already start waving goodbye to the league, in my opinion, in terms of winning it. I've said all along, from the start of this season, off the back of the Club World Cup, we should be trying to compete for it this season. A lot of people have already given up on that prospect, that opportunity, because we've not been playing great. And it's true. We've not really been great all season, apart from that brilliant result at West Ham. But look at West Ham. There's going to be a lot of teams that will do that to West Ham this season. Even Glasnow's Palace, I think, will destroy West Ham at the weekend. That'll be the end of Graham Potter. So for Chelsea, we go into this game and we've got to bounce back. That Bayern Munich defeat was a turning point, maybe, because I think we gave Bayern too much respect. We've got to go into this one being ruthless, feeling ruthless, and feeling as though we want to rectify the last two results. The Brentford one, regardless of what you think about offside call this, offside call that, you've got to win that game. You've still got to go to Brentford and win if you want to be in a title conversation. So now we must respond. So without any further ado, let's go through my Chelsea starting 11 to go to Old Trafford and hopefully end this horrible curse we've got of playing there. So we begin with Chelsea's number one goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. This, to me, right now is an absolute no-brainer. Rob Sanchez is Chelsea's number one, and I actually think he had a really good game against Bayern Munich. There's obviously still going to be a lot of people that will bring up Donnarumma going to Man City for a very, very good price, and Donnarumma already looks like the world-class keeper that we all know he is. But at the end of the day, Chelsea backed the man, and right now I'm backing him too. I thought his distribution was good against Bayern. Yes, it was Gusto that got caught out, and a lot of people have said I've been quite harsh on Gusto. On reflection, the red box probably should have been a yellow, because I thought Gusto did quite well, but I've taken Gusto out of the starting 11 here. This is massive. Reece James should be starting these big games for Chelsea. Reece James at Champong, Chalobah, and Marc Cucurella. This is the first big contentious decision that I have made in the lineup. I think when we look at both Trev and Tosin, Trev has been the better player. You could argue that against Bayern Munich, the whole defence just looked shaky. We didn't look ready. We're up against one of the world's best strikers of the last decade, Harry Kane. Michael Olise, a world-class, genuinely world-class, by the way, winger. And Chelsea just didn't look good enough. And I'm bringing Josh Achampong in here. This is the game he's got to start. We literally played Bayern Munich 60 hours ago at the time of me posting and recording this video. Man United have had a full week of recovery. Now, whether that means anything or not, because maybe they're just not very good, irrelevant. Chelsea have had to go, fly back from Germany, and we've had, 1-2 training sessions before we play Manchester United at Old Trafford. Josh Achampong, there's been so many good things said about him from Enzo Maresca. We've seen it firsthand with our eyes, what he can do on the ball. And when we move over to the tactics board, we're going to move over to the tactics board soon, and I'm going to show you kind of how it can line up a little bit when we're in possession, when we're going forward. But I think this is the moment to put Achampong in the starting 11 for Chelsea. Reece James is in there as well. As we move forward and move to the tactics board, you'll see what I've done. Let's move into this. Enzo Fernandez, I believe, should be dropped for this game. When Andre Santos came on against Bayern Munich, Chelsea looked a lot more threatening going forward. Andre was trying to get the ball into the final third quicker. He was dribbling quicker. He's better on the recovery right now. And I do think Chelsea looked a lot more comfortable with Caicedo and Santos there. Now, I know Enzo Fernandez has got a lot of people that love him. There's also a lot of people that really don't like him. I just think this is where you need to use the squad. This isn't me writing off Enzo Fernandez. I know that a lot of people read it as that, so I want to clarify that now. But he has looked tired. And I think unless Enzo Maresca is going to play him a lot deeper, then I think Santos is a better option. And I think we can overrun that Manchester United midfield with the legs and energy that Andre Santos brings. And listen, he's ready. Santos is absolutely ready. This is a big game, and this would be a huge trust and show of faith, sign of faith from Maresca in the depth in this squad. Those are the two big changes that I would make. And then there's more as we move forward into my Chelsea attack. And I've got two different options here. Based on Maresca's press conference, he said that Garnacho is ready to start. My head would tell me that we go with this and use Garnacho off the bench, but I genuinely think it is time for Garnacho to start this game. Neto's been playing a lot of football. Esteval has got the world-class potential. Cole Palmer's got to be there in the 10, and right now, João Pedro is the striker. Even though I don't think he is a centre-forward, he will obviously be starting this game up top. I just think it is written here for Alejandro Garnacho. This could be the biggest salt rub into the Manchester United wound, which at this point, the wound is the football club as a whole. It isn't just the defence, the goalkeeper, the midfielder, the attack. The whole club is bleeding right now, for real. And if Garnacho goes to Old Trafford, I just think he's going to have the biggest game of his career almost at club football, in my opinion, this would be. Because he's going back to Manchester United, without question, the biggest club in the country, who at first everyone was like, this is the real deal. He's going to be the next big thing. And then by the end of it, he was one of the most hated players that they've had. I think Garnacho goes to Old Trafford, and if he starts, I genuinely think he'll win the game for Chelsea. I've just got a feeling about it. And then look, what a way to win over a fan base that had a lot of questions about you, and to also stick that middle finger up at the fans that were happy to see the back of you. This would be the moment of Garnacho's career at club football so far. This is what I think the Chelsea starting 11 will be and should be. Three big changes in there. Champong coming in at centre back. Andre Santos coming in the middle. And Alejandro Garnacho starting for Chelsea for the first time on the wing. So, let's move over to the tactics board and have a look at how this practically plays out for Chelsea. With Reece James and Marc Cucurella both in the side, you could see something that sees Reece James as a traditional right-back or inverting, and you could also see the same happen with Marc Cucurella, with Reece James also being a competent player in that right centre-back position. But for me, I think I'd much rather see Cucurella there, with Champong being the right centre-back, potentially Trev as that central centre-back, and Reece James stepping up into the midfield. The one thing I would say that might actually make it a bit more likely that Reece would be the one to sit back, with Cucurella getting forward a little bit more, is the narrowness that we see Alejandro Garnacho playing with. What I really like about the potential of having Andre Santos in there instead of Enzo Fernandez is the legs that it gives for Chelsea to get those players back in the defensive transition. If Marc Cucurella is here with Caicedo, I think Man United are going to find it incredibly difficult to actually break through this Chelsea team. The one thing I'd say about Enzo Fernandez, particularly in recent games, is he looks as though he's not quite at the right pace of the game. Teams can run past him, they can get through him all too easily. With Santos, that's the wrong button. With Santos, I think he can get involved further up the field. And of course, we've seen the combinations already between these two. Esteval always looking to cut inside. Cole Palmer as well, looking to do the same. You can see those rotations between Palmer and also Esteval over on that right-hand side. With Garnacho and Santos coming in the team, I think it gives Chelsea some revitalised new energy here. And I also think we need to see Santos a lot more in the final third. Marc Cucurella can also get forward here, potentially Santos dropping in a little bit if we do want to see Marc Cucurella getting forward with that overlap with Garnacho, which would then see Garnacho cut inside, and then we can see those cutbacks. That is where Garnacho is at his best. And I think if we can get Garnacho playing as close together with Cole Palmer as we possibly can, and also, of course, as a result of that, involving João Pedro too, then I think Chelsea could go potentially and rub serious salt into these Manchester United wounds. With Cucurella and Reece James both being out on the pitch at the same time, I think it gives Enzo Maresca a lot more tactical versatility. Depending on the game state, we can either see Cucurella inverting or Reece James as well. I think this is the way to go forward for Chelsea. To wrap things up here for this GBFC preview, I want to give you a score prediction. I think it is about time Chelsea went to Old Trafford and we got rid of this unwanted record. Man United are in probably the worst place I've seen them in as just a football fan for so long, maybe ever in my lifetime. After losing that cup final, I thought with the signings they made in the summer they'd be better. I hope this isn't the game where those new signings all click into gear. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, by the way, that United put in their best performance of the season. It will probably happen, but it's up to Chelsea to be prepared for that, Chelsea to be ready for it. So I'm going to say that we are going to do it. I think it's not going to be that straightforward. Man United 1, Chelsea 2. We need to win this game. If we lose, this is a disastrous week. To draw the way that we did at Brentford felt like a loss. Beaten at Bayern Munich. If we go to Old Trafford and lose to this Man United team, serious questions will be asked. And at that point, they should be asked. Because to already be, in my opinion, if we lose this and Liverpool win this weekend, say goodbye to any chances of the title. Because I think Liverpool are going to keep getting better. Chelsea have got to kick into gear here. The draw against Brentford last week was a horrible result. We should have won that game. Even after dealing with the moments that happened in the game. We always should have won that match at Brentford. If you want to be in a title race, you win that. And you go to Man United, they're not even a top 8 team anymore. You go here and you win. No excuses, Chelsea. Get it done. Thank you guys for watching this preview. As always, make sure you're subscribed to Shootout because tomorrow's watch-along is going to be the biggest and hopefully the best one yet. We're still waiting for that first win on a Shootout Chelsea watch-along with Eunice. We're also going to be live for the Merseyside derby before that tomorrow, so there'll be a little break between that and the Chelsea game. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed. Huge shout out again to Plaud for helping us here on the channel and sponsoring. Leave a link to those products in the description. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the watch-along tomorrow. Come on, you Blues.